Hello, and welcome back to Amateur Philosophers Play Games. I'm Noah, the host.
And I'm Justin, the gamer.
And this is the show where we play video games and discuss philosophical ideas, problems, and philosophize about random topics. So Justin, for you, and for the audience as well, I have a very important question. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me.
It's Baby Don't Hurt Me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We're all done here. You can just watch Justin run around in this shop for a little while. No. But actually, the reason I wanted to talk about this is love is a very important idea and a very important thing to humans. It often the defining trait for some people at some stage in many stages of life. But the problem is love, the English word love, is very broad and generic and can refer to a lot of different things. And even the different things it tries to refer to, oftentimes we don't really know what we're talking about when we say, oh, I love that. What do you mean? What is love? So, yeah, I think a good place to start with love would be many of you may know, Greek actually has, I believe, 3 different words for love. There's eros, phileo, and agape. I believe. I'm not a Greek scholar, but
there's at least one more.
Oh.
No, those are the 3 that I think that are used in the Bible. I think there's definitely one more. There might be another. What is it? Eroticos?
Oh,
Eroticos?
no, isn't that like Eros, or isn't that the same?
No,
no.
Those
are
that's
different.
section. Yeah, no, that's where we get the word erotic.
Yeah,
from.
I figured.
That's like sexual love. Yeah,
Okay.
Eros is like not that.
Romantic.
That's Eros is like romantic love. Filio is like brotherly love, and agape is like God's love.
Yeah. So let's get down to it, I suppose. Why don't we start with probably, I don't know about the easiest, but one of the most straightforward, eroticos? Is that the word? It's something like that?
Like that. It's EX something. You don't talk about it in church because, well, church isn't the place to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. And the internet is the place to talk about it with all the 13-year-olds who watch our videos.
Yes.
13-year-olds. I mean, I appreciate you guys watching the videos and trying to educate yourselves. You might want to skip ahead, I don't know, a few minutes in this episode.
Then we get spicy, like Link's hot dish.
So yeah, that one would just be as the name implies from our English word erotic, it would be sexual love, attraction, physical attraction. Very base, used for I don't think we really need to talk too much about that.
Oh no, they're kind of like church. You just know it's there.
Yeah. You know it's there, and acknowledge it and move on. So what do I think is a little more interesting, which would be eros, romantic love. Right.
I feel like I missed everything that was said last time, so I'm trying to really read this and make sure I get what I'm supposed to be doing.
The plot of this game is back in the day, Ganon did a bad thing, and now you're going to go try to do a good thing. It's not too complicated. But and also you have amnesia because, of course,
because plot,
yeah. If you just remembered how to be Link, the super cool guy from the beginning, you wouldn't be able to level up or anything. I don't know.
Okay, so Eros, romantic love, and that's actually, most people think it's easy to define because we've all experienced it.
Right.
At some level, I feel like, you have a crush or,
Yeah.
Most
human.
Everyone knows what love is.
Yeah.
But, when you try to define it, like we usually do in these episodes, you sit down and try to define a word, and all of a sudden you realize, well, that doesn't make sense. And, none of the words really have meaning.
None of the words have meaning. That would be a good tagline for our show.
Okay,
yes.
So love. There's several theories about how or what love is. Okay, doesn't matter anyway. Okay then. Blue flame. Okay. Hey, look, there's a yellow dot. Yay.
Yes.
How do I get it out?
Step 0. Exit the house.
Is it this door? Is this a door? Oh yeah, there's a door.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, it's raining.
That's fine.
This isn't the door I went out originally, but oh no.
Yeah. Well, if you jump off the cliff, at least you have the paraglider, so you won't die immediately.
true.
Maybe. But yeah.
All right. So love. There's some different theories about what love could be. There's the theory, maybe it's just, you spend a lot of time with somebody, and when you spend a lot of time with them, and then you get to know them, then that's what love is. It's like a combination of time spent together and common ground. That's what love is.
Okay. However, that's interesting because I think that starts to tread on the toes of the next category, which would be brotherly love, which would you typically use for a very close friend. Again, commonality and time spent together. I don't know about most, but many strong friendships are built on that. So
true.
So I don't know. I think there definitely has to be something beyond that for it to be eros, love. So, but what could it be?
Well, not to bring up the past, but it could be the other word for Greek word for love that we said we didn't want to talk a lot about. That's the other thing, is that maybe there's a theory that maybe just love is romantic love is just eros plus erotica.
Yeah, it could be that.
That's what it is, and somehow that isn't right.
It doesn't seem
we
right,
don't like it's what is it?
Are we just
are
we just monkeys who happen to spend a lot of time around each other? I mean, you could argue yes, but it seems we like to think monkeys don't have love in the same way humans do, or maybe they do. I don't know. Any monkeys in the audience watching this video, tell us how what monkey society views love. That would be interesting. Yes.
I'm gonna get this apple. Ooh,
Got him.
All right. So yeah, the theory is that you have some kind of attraction to somebody, and that plus time spent and quality characteristics that you like. That's what love is. That's all that love is. And somehow when we say that, it feels like we cheapen it.
I agree, because
that's not what you mean, right? When you see the love of your life and you're like, oh, I love you. You don't just mean, oh, you. This love of my life.
I don't think so.
What? What? Okay, no. This guy. Where does he get his audacity?
If I told you, what? You do know you can't hurt NPCs in this game, so yeah.
What?
You just gotta take that back talk.
Open world. My philosophical behind. It's not very open. All right.
But yeah, because the thing about love is anyone who has spent any time listening to music or poetry or art from any period of history in any culture ever, love is I don't know why, something like 80% of music is about romantic love. But I think both now and back in the olden days when they actually spoke Greek and other languages. So it's clearly very
you don't know it. You don't know it. Greek isn't a dead language. There's a whole country called Greece where they speak Greek regularly.
Is modern Greek the same as ancient Greek?
I didn't say it was the same. I'm just saying that.
Well, that's like saying Latin's not a dead language because Italy is still around, but Italian is not the same as Latin. It's descended from it, but anyway, that's not important.
I mean, it's not quite the same, but it's pretty similar.
Anyway, so yeah, Italian is not the same as Latin, but we're getting off.
You're getting off topic, but yes, okay. So back in the day, 80% of songs over all human history apparently are about love.
I don't. 80% is a very random number I threw out there, but
okay.
you get the point. A lot of music, a lot of art, a lot of stories are about love. And interestingly, you know me, I'm the aesthetics guy. I love reading books. Even books and movies and video games and other things that aren't explicitly about love, that aren't in the romance genre, typically very often include a romance subplot, either the main character and a side character, or perhaps two side characters. So it's clearly very important to humans in some way.
That's what I was saying, is we all have that experience. It's a common human, not quite an emotion, but a common human experience. And so when we say it, we all the same thing like comes to our mind, right? Like we all like think like, oh yeah, that's what love is. And when you say, oh yeah, I love my wife, you know what that means, right?
Right.
Like, no one's like, I don't know what that is. Even and like we're never taught it. Like you're never taught like, oh, this is what it means.
You have to
say I love somebody.
People know by experience or experience of those who've experienced, I guess,
Right.
secondhand.
Yes.
Yeah. Even if you've never fallen in love, which we should probably define what that means, but even if you've never fallen in love, you've probably read or a story or seen a movie or something or heard stories about people. So you know of it at least. And it's, like I said, a key part of the human experience for the vast majority of humanity, past, present, and presumably future. So
wait, do you want to talk about what love? So we're talking.
So we're talking.
Oh,
we've talked a lot about how important Eros love is, but we still really haven't said what it is. I mean, we kind of have, but I feel like our definition's a little lacking. So, pro tip. So did you see as you were walking by the little like lamppost thing? Well, if you put the fire away, then it goes out.
I didn't mean to put the fire away.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't start the fire. Okay.
We didn't.
It's been.
And also, when it's raining, the fire will.
Oh, it's raining. Okay, so how do I make it stop raining?
Good question. I think you wait, or you go do something else in a different part of the map.
Okay, well, that's lame. So wait, is that yellow thing in front of me? Is that where like is that Big Ganon or is that a shrine?
I don't know. I look to your left again. Is that? I think that might be a shrine up there.
Okay.
The glowing orange thing.
Yeah, we'll go check it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even if it's not a shrine, it looks interesting. But
yeah.
So yeah.
All right.
I would say
so yes.
Eros, romantic love, is a very. It is so hard to describe and put words on it. But then again, that's what we're here to do. So I guess that's our life now.
Okay, so another thing is when you say you love somebody, what does that mean? Are you talking about that person? So what does that mean? Like, what do you mean you love this person? Are you saying that you love a specific set of characteristics that they have? That person, like, he's tall, dark, and handsome, and that's what you love? That if he wasn't tall, dark, and handsome, you would cease to love him? Is that what that means?
Right. Or is kind or intelligent or what a certain set of characteristics. Yeah. Well, I suppose that's actually asking the question, is a person just the sum of their characteristics, which is an interesting question, but I don't think we have time to get into that on top of this very complicated discussion of love as well. So
but I think that it's an important thing to bring up because like we're trying to figure out what love is, and I think that when like you say, "Oh, I love you," well, if the person changes,
yeah,
is the love
oh,
the
no,
thing that
it's
stays
the ship
there?
of Theseus all over again. If I change, am I really the same person who loves or is loved or does not love?
I forgot to tell you, my capstone in college was what is love and personal identity. They were the same class.
Oh.
And now you see why.
They're very similar topics in if you think about it too closely.
And I think I don't remember. I hate to say this. I don't remember if I came up with this or if this is something that kind of was a consensus among people in the class. But I think someone at some point said that maybe love is that thing that remains despite the changes in the person.
That's romantic and eloquent, but what does that mean? The thing that remains despite the person. So
the change in that person.
Despite the change in the lover or the lovey?
Well, the lovey is the person that receives the love, right?
Sure.
Then yes, that.
Oh no!
So for instance,
this shrine is terrible. I mean, go ahead and try it, but just let me show you.
Oh, that's very encouraging. Thank you. Now I feel so confident.
Literally go up to the thing and click the button. Motion controls,
what?
baby.
No, why would they do this to me?
Yeah, it's
Okay. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Jerry, how did you do this?
I will say it's a lot easier when you're using the Switch handheld as opposed to in the dock, but even then, it's still not easy. Anyway, as you...
I don't even know how I'm doing this. Nope, okay.
Well, you get another ball, but...
Anyway, so, okay, let's say I have a girlfriend, right?
Right.
If that girlfriend were to, I don't know, change some characteristics of herself, would I still love her the way I love her now? I would say yes. And that, did I just, what? Is it trapped? It's trapped. How do I... This is lame.
This is... I don't know why they felt the need to incorporate motion controls into this game, but
well, you know,
Nintendo.
Noah, Noah, I love this game despite that.
Oh, that's very nice of you. Do you Eros it, or do you agape it, or something else? But yes. So yeah,
So
you say you would love her
change.
despite the change. That's good, but that doesn't really say what the love is. That's just a quality of the love, that it doesn't change despite changing situations, which is cool, but that doesn't really tell you what is doing the not changing, if that makes sense.
What is doing the not
So
changing?
what you're saying is love is something that doesn't change despite the circumstances, more or less, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. But what is it that is not changing? Something is not changing. Not changeableness is not... I mean, that's a characteristic. That's not a thing that you can have. You can't say, oh, look at this big handful of not changeableness. That doesn't make any sense.
Thinking that, maybe love could be something along the lines of your willingness to be and... Well, oh, no, I defined it some way after college. Is this what I was supposed to do? I really thought this was... No, okay. What's that yellow thing? I don't know.
I think that's a treasure chest if you want to walk down there later, but...
Walk over there? All right. No! Okay, I can do this. I'm in control. I'm the master of my own destiny. Come on.
Are you? Are we just puppets dancing on the strings of the video?
Okay, maybe no. I was gonna be a surgeon. Maybe I shouldn't.
Okay. Well, you talk. Well, you have this fascinating struggle with.
You talk. I'm gonna get this. Okay.
Yeah. So that we're narrowing it down. So we say love is.
No.
That was that. Is it
love
loving?
is pain.
Love is something that doesn't change despite the circumstances, and love is, it requires closeness. It requires no, I don't want to say physical closeness, but what's the term you use where you interact with each other often or you see each other frequently?
Call it hanging out, Noah.
Well, yeah, but you used a cool philosophical sounding word when we talked about it earlier.
I did. Time plus...
I don't know.
Anyway, I know what you mean.
That
quality time.
You need that, and you also need mental, like I'd say both of your minds must be aligned in some way. Oh, also that's a good point. Maybe this is a controversial take. I think it does require exactly 2 people, generally.
Oh, that is actually philosophical.
Yeah. So, for example, I think it's safe to say you can't Eros love yourself. You can. That would be a different.
I have one word for you, Noah. Narcissus.
I think we call that a mental disorder. But using the standard, widely accepted, put it this way, it would be a very strange romance movie if there was only one person in it. You couldn't really have a romance movie with just one main character. You need 2. You need the 2 people who love each other. And conversely, it would be a very strange romance movie with 3 or 4 or 10 people who all Eros love each other in the same sense. I don't know what. That would be an interesting movie. Oh, so close.
Ridiculous. I'm gonna do this, okay? I'm gonna do it.
perhaps we should switch this week's topic to what is insanity.
Just this.
The game designers when they were making this puzzle.
Okay, apparently I've got a delayed reaction.
Yeah.
So all right,
we're narrowing it down, and we're saying Eros.
No, there is an entire. Oh no, actually no. If you remember, this is the one philosophy club meeting that you went to, where the entire topic was monogamy is like makes no sense, and you should actually love multiple people.
That's an interesting take.
Hot take.
It's a very hot take. It was an interesting talk. I disagreed with some of his premises, which meant I disagreed with the conclusion. But that's a bit of a naughty subject. I think we should probably just say, for now, the historical and societal standard is love is two people.
Did I do it? No.
Yeah, love is exactly two people.
Yes.
And because we do say lords of houses or lords of royal houses in the past, if they had mistresses, but you wouldn't say that's typically a sign that you don't actually love your wife or you don't love properly. That it.
Not well. Okay, let's be clear. Back in the day, that was not the case. No. The mistresses were like they knew about, like the wives knew about them, and like it was a very, like it was actually a classy thing to have a mistress back in the day.
I'm not saying
really
that. I'm saying it means it probably means you didn't have, or there was a breakdown in your romantic love for your wife or your primary partner. That's the other thing about
primary partner.
That's the other thing about Eros. We typically talk about partner. Or it's a form of partnership.
No.
It's a form of partnership. Two people who are independent, voluntarily and willingly enter into an agreement to be with each other for. I mean, in the case of marriage, which is, I would argue, one of the purest, most straightforward examples of Eros. For life. Marriage is nominally for life, practically. But, and even
do us part.
Yeah, exactly. Until death or a divorce do us part, but that's less romantic.
Okay, I gotta figure out how this is oriented, because like I keep tilting it and it doesn't turn the way.
I think if you want to reorient it, you can just back out with B and then just enter it again.
Again, because it was all kind of Haddaway. Okay.
All right.
So yes, basically, love is two people signing a contract. That's what you're saying, Noah.
In a sense.
But you're a businessman, of course. That's what you think it is.
Well, I don't know if. Yeah, you know what? I would say you agree to partner with each other for. Oh, did you? No, so close. I thought.
Jinxed me.
I thought I was gonna go in, but it went the wrong way. Yeah.
But yes. So love is two people signing a contract.
Among other things.
Among other things. What are the other things, Noah?
Well, like we were just saying, you're attracted to each other. You see eye to eye in many ways, which is an interesting turn of phrase. You are able to spend time with each other to grow this affection. Yeah, I would say love or Eros love. You have affection for each other. That's probably a prerequisite.
All right, Noah. So how is this love different than Eros? How is it different than like saying, "Oh, you're my friend. I would say I love you."
Are you talking about? You mean how is it different from?
I did it.
How is it different from phileo? That would be the.
Yes. That's right. How is it different than phileo?
Excellent question.
It sounds like you're just describing phileo.
And that's the real meat of this question. Yes, phileo. There's not a assumption of lifetime or long-term partnership, even though that's quite common. Like, Justin, I would say, I don't know. We've known each other we've known each other a number of years now. I think there's a reasonable amount of.
If I die, does it get rid of the ball.
Only one way to find out.
No.
Don't
Yeah,
die.
ask the guy who's played the game.
Just walk around. What are you doing? Just walk around and go into the.
I wanted the chest. Okay, is the ball still there? Yay!
Yeah, okay.
Anyway.
I think you would have to move it so it's closer to you, and you could
I see.
get in there.
Okay. Well, okay, so wait, if I sign a contract, if you and I go into business together and I sign a contract saying that we'll stay in this business forever, do we now have, is it now Eros?
Okay, that's not what I meant when I said contract. I was using that as an illustration.
That's literally all marriage is, though. It's literally just a contract. Like, I have, like, married people. It's just a piece of paper.
Man, we're gonna, by the end of this, we're gonna decide that love is fake and just, no, yeah, love isn't real, and
Hey, you've discovered what all of my classmates came. The conclusion all my classmates came to at the end of our semester-long hunt for finding out what love is.
Do you include yourself amongst these classmates?
Yep.
Great.
I was like, okay,
love is dead.
Love is a lie.
Love
is a lie.
Love is a lie.
Nope.
I think you're gonna need to lower the lip of it further so it's tilted down, I think. Well, before we jump into the extremes of love is a lie and you should all feel ashamed for thinking you love, we should probably define what phileo is, because we've gone in circles around Eros for a while. I don't think we figured it out, but we at least have some traits for it, which is something. So what is phileo, Justin?
Defined it while trying to figure out Eros. So phileo would just be you have a great form of likeness for somebody, because of common interest or admiration, and so you enjoy spending time with that person and being around them and lower.
Yeah, like maybe that might be enough. I think that's good enough. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks about right. Okay. So yes, that's what phileo is. It's just liking someone enough to basically hang out with them and wanting to hang out with them.
Okay.
That's what phileo is.
Okay. I can see that. But yeah, so close.
Okay.
And also it's the idea of for what it's worth, brotherly love, I think is how we translate it into English. Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, comes from that from that base word. I don't know how much phileo they actually practice in Philadelphia. I've never been there, but yeah, that's where the word comes from.
I wouldn't imagine a lot. Okay, I've seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I wouldn't be too hopeful.
Yeah. So I think I guess we could say one key difference between phileo and eros is eros often goes hand in hand with erotikos. I keep forgetting how to pronounce it. The first one, whereas phileo does not contain that usually.
Okay, so now you've come down. So now we've got that. When you say you love somebody in a romantic sense, all you're doing is saying you love them like a brother, or like a brotherly love, but also with that, in an adult way.
Yeah.
That's all you've got. So when you
are there any other differences? Can you? Okay, here we go. Here's one. I think
I didn't even.
You didn't even jump. I think, or maybe you did. I don't know.
I know.
I think typically, like we said earlier, society, you can only eros love one person at a time. And if you have more than one person you claim to eros love, that's typically a red flag that one or more of those relationships are damaged or false or incorrect in some way. Whereas we don't typically assign that standard to phileo. You can and often will have multiple friends. And I think we should probably define being a friend with someone is not necessarily the same as having phileo love with them, correct?
It's a very deep form of connection.
I think you might say deep friends or close friends. It would be the closest English way of having it.
Because I mean, it does mean like Philadelphia is a city of brotherly love. It's supposed to be that you love them as if they're brother, even though they're not. Okay, what if I go all the way down and I just like try and like glide onto it?
It's not a bad idea. Right.
Try that.
But no, those relationships aren't usually common. It's not easy to have many relationships that are that close and that deep with other people, but it does happen, and it's not... Ah, there we go. Very nice. I would say it's not too uncommon to have...
This better not be just like a torch or something. I'm very upset.
Let's see. It is a
bow. It looks like a pretty good bow.
Yeah, it's not a bad bow. Okay, could be worse. I don't know if it was worth.
Okay.
I don't know if it was worth your. I don't know. How long have you spent on this? Like 30 minutes on this dungeon?
Yeah. Let's not talk about that, okay?
But yeah. So, what else can we say about Philo? That is because when we get down to trying to define the traits like this, it does start to sound very similar to Eros, but without the romantic thing. Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, I've been throwing around this word romance and romantic a lot, but we kind of have to define what that is, because that's the idea of romance is usually very tied to the idea of Eros love. But what is romance?
I feel like you're not gonna like this, but I feel like that's a synonym for like love.
Great, very helpful. In order to love, you must have love. Boy. Wait, we've really come a long way, haven't we?
I told you that we all gave up and we're like, love is a lie. That's what we came up with. I didn't just say that because, it sounds snappy. Oh no, how do I get off?
Didn't think this one through. Can you maybe climb one of the bars? Can you climb the bars?
Okay, yeah, I think I got it. No. That was a bad frame rate. Okay, so I can kind of get up on them. So maybe if I get up on them and I can jump and like, I don't know, maybe, hopefully, glide. And guys, this might be the end of the game. I might be stuck here forever.
I mean, worst case scenario, you can always just fast travel out of the dungeon and then back into it. But
oh yeah,
I'm not. I think that won't delete your progress. Like it won't make. It won't.
That would suck. That would be very bad. That'd be very much not bad.
Yeah, it wouldn't. It wouldn't.
Try it. I'm just gonna. All right, cross your fingers, everybody.
Mm-hmm. So just like if you load and like travel right there, it should put you at the beginning of it. Let's see what happens. It's been so long since I played this game. I genuinely do not remember if it will undo your progress or not.
I hope not. That would be very sad. Okay. So, love.
Yeah. Love, romance. Are they? I guess they're synonyms. I don't know.
I think you could say that romance is something, because that's different for every person. What one person considers romantic, another person might not. Maybe it's roses and a candlelit dinner, and maybe it's, I don't know, a video game.
Yeah, I guess we could say romance or romantic as an adjective.
No, it did delete it.
You don't have to. You don't have to do the shrine if you don't want to.
Nope. Yes, I do.
Okay. All right.
This was totally not worth a bow, though. Just saying.
Yeah.
That's probably the worst part about this. The game designers knew exactly what they were doing, and somebody sat in a meeting and pitched this, and someone was like, "Yes."
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I feel like romance is different for everybody.
Yeah, and I would say romantic as a adjective means containing a situation or thing that is very related to and has a high amount of Eros love and encourages Eros love. How about that? Sure, let's go with that.
I was gonna say it relates to a feeling, and I feel like if you've been in love, then you kind of know the feeling of romance.
I see. Oh, that's a good point, actually. We could, because that's another thing, we could make a distinction between the feeling of love and choosing to love a person or someone as an active choice, which is I believe there's a pretty significant difference between those two. Close.
Right. I think that I don't know if I brought this up. When you define love, when you say like, "Oh, I love you," what you're saying is I would suffer or take great loss for you and expect like it not to be rewarded in some way. I did it.
Nice.
Wow,
Very nice.
That didn't take 2 hours like last time.
No, sure didn't.
All right. So yes, I would say that that's what love is in that sense. It's like I would suffer for you out of like how do we what's the word? Starts with an A, and it means like not expect something in return. Blanking on it. We've had a whole episode on
Altruism?
Yes, altruistically suffer for you.
Okay.
Like that's
all right.
And suffer in like in various ways. You know, financially, because you know I would spend money on you that for like basically no reason.
Yeah. Yeah, it comes at it. You would be willing to pay a high cost for this other person.
Right.
Okay. So.
Okay, I better get a sick power. For this, okay.
You know from now on all you get is spirit orbs just every time.
That's it?
I mean, 4 spirit orbs is either a heart or more stamina.
The lame, but okay.
You can become more healthy and more stamina-y. It's called video game progression. It's like leveling up, only much more scattered, and you can do it at your own pace.
Okay. All right. So yes, so we've got what Eros is, and romance is that feeling. Oh no, I said that love in the sense of like. Yeah, love in general. So all the loves we've talked about, or all loves we've talked about, is in some way I'm willing to suffer for you.
Yeah,
that's what that means. Oh wait, I can go do the it's not raining.
Yay. Right. So I think that means we've covered the first 3. I'm not entirely happy with our definition of phileo, but we've at least pointed out how it's very similar to eros, but without a couple. With a few key differences.
It's like what is it? Phileo plus. That's
sure.
We don't know what's the plus you ask. That's a good question. But that's what it is.
Yeah. But that does leave one, probably the hardest, at least in my experience. That being agape, love, which is. Take it away, Justin. What is agape?
Spoken like a true politician. So agape is basically, for those of us who are dedicated followers, you remember how we had a talk about what? Oh, I don't have a torch.
I think you can just use a
wooden. I broke it.
Check in your inventory. I think you have like a wooden club. Yeah, you can use anything made of wood.
Oh, cool. So. We had a whole episode on what altruism is,
right?
And I feel like agape is basically what we were trying to define. Without knowing it, that's what it is.
Okay. All right, understandable.
So it's basically it means like God's love for us, and the idea behind it is that no matter what we do or how bad we are, there's nothing. Oh no. I can't put it away if I jump. But I can't.
Is there a place you can maybe jump to the other side?
I can probably just climb around it. Anyway, so no matter how bad we are or what we do, God will still love us the same. And like in love in the same sense that we defined it earlier, where God would suffer for us.
Right.
He did, and so that's what agape is.
Yes. I think
undeserving love, I guess.
Yeah, undeserving. I think people have also defined it as selfless love, or yeah, because there is something interesting in the first 3 forms. You do I mean, you love with expectation, but the idea is you maybe will eventually get something out of it. Like, you know, in Eros, you will enter into a partnership with this person. That is a thing you get out of it.
Yay.
Yay. No, but you will enter a partnership with this person that will improve both of your lives, but it will improve your life. Phileo, you will spend time with this person who you enjoy being with, and also there is an implication of mutual respect, I guess, with Phileo. But I think if I understand correctly, agape implies that you do it with no expectation, truly selflessly. So yeah, I guess almost what we were trying to talk about when we had our episode on altruism. If you haven't seen that one, go watch that one. It was a interesting roundabout discussion. I don't know if we really defined what altruism was.
In circles.
We did.
We did not, because it was bad.
Yeah.
We were very much like I took the stance that altruism doesn't exist. So
Yeah.
That's
So,
where I am.
Exactly. And
I think I'm out of wood.
I mean, you can.
Are these wood?
Yeah. You can also go into. You can chop down trees, and those usually give you like tree branches. Are you gonna chop down this tree in the middle of town? You're not gonna go into the wilds.
No.
Okay, sure.
What you ever do for me? Nothing. Why should I love it? Oh right, I don't.
Oh well, that's wood. I don't think you can actually use wood like as a weapon. It's just an inventory item. Anyway,
I think agape is basically just altruistic love.
yeah, ultra selfless love. Now, we were saying interesting. You defined it earlier as godly love, or the love God has, which is obviously a high bar. But if I recall correctly, in the New Testament, Jesus calls his followers at one point to agape each other, which, if I haven't. I'll put a disclaimer, I haven't read the New Testament in Greek. That would be cool, but I would need to learn Greek first. But
He's just too lazy to do that.
Nah, I don't know about too lazy, but you know, it's a lot of time that I could be spending playing video games, like
Watching anime.
and watching Justin play video games while I talk about how much I play video. But do I? I guess I do have time, huh? Anyway, yeah. So, is it possible for humans to agape each other?
No. This is going to get more into a theological discussion. Like a deeper theological discussion.
Because if, again, this is going off my limited understanding, I think even the ancient Greeks, when they had the word agape, but they weren't entirely sure what it meant. Yeah.
You know, it's almost like saying love, and then we sit here and try to figure out what we mean.
Yeah.
So the deeper philosophical, or the deeper theological discussion that needs to be had. I'm trying to see if I can find that.
I think you're trying to go to the research lab and ignite the fire there. I don't recall where it is.
Do I not have to light all of these?
I don't think you have to light all of them.
All right.
I think the idea is these are way stops, so in case the wind blows them out or something, you don't have to backtrack all the way to the fire. You can just go to the latest one.
Okay. Anyway, what did we just say?
We were talking about how when you start talking about agape, you generally move from philosophy into theology.
Right. And I think that maybe, for those who don't know, it's kind of like how God gave the Old Testament law, and the idea of the law was basically trying to say, this is the standard. You can't meet it.
Yes. Yeah.
Be better.
Yeah.
And that's what God is saying, or that's what Jesus would be saying when he says agape each other. He's saying, you should have the love that I have for you with each other.
Yeah, and that is the goal.
And that's a really high bar. So
yes.
Be better.
Yeah. Yeah. So agape is really hard to
talk about.
Agape is hard to talk about because it's hard to describe exactly.
Right.
I mean, we've had so much trouble describing even the more commonplace forms of love. You know, here we are with this other one. But yeah, I'm sorry. What were you saying? I interrupted you.
I was going to say, side note, off topic, but no one ever talks about how smart aleck God is so often. Like it's because it's like we write the Bible in Latin.
That was very sad.
We like God was he had some wit about him. Like with Job.
Yeah.
Job's all sad and like, oh no, all my stuff's gone, and God's like, are you God? Okay, no. So shut up.
You have to use a cutting machine or a cutting blade to cut it down a tree.
I'm out of cutting stuff. Need a stick. No.
The greatest enemy of all, the greatest enemy in the game. Can you find a stick?
Oh.
No. Yeah.
I was right there.
So, I think we still have some time. So I want to talk about another interesting distinction that I don't think gets brought up quite as often as the difference, like the 3 or 4 types of love. I alluded to this a bit earlier, but I think there's an important distinction between active love, like choosing to love, and passive love, which we might call it a feeling or an emotion.
Right. Actually, I think this is what there was another kind of love. I remember I was saying that, like, I think there's another. There's the love you have for like family. There's like familial love.
Ah, I see. Okay.
And so that one is, and that's another form of love that you have.
Right. I wouldn't know the word for that, but yeah, familial love is interesting because the other loves are people you meet throughout the walk of life, whereas familial love, I mean, your family is your family. You're around them. You're born into your family, and you'll be with your family, at least hopefully, for most of your life. So yeah, which is I don't think we need to talk too much about familial love, but yeah, it is worth pointing out that does exist, and it is distinct from the other types of love.
So what were you saying?
I was saying that we often, because in English, this is going back to English rather than Greek for a little bit, we use love as both a verb and as a noun. So you can love someone in the verb. So you can do love to someone to make it a little clearer, but also a little less clear. But you can also experience love. You can feel love. And the two are related, but I don't think they're quite the same, even though, again, it's the same word. Unfortunately, I do not know much about the Greek verb and noun forms, but I don't know if Greek has a similar distinction where you can both have love as a verb and a noun.
I would imagine so, just based off of how often I've like looked at like Greek words and figured out they have like 13 or so like word forms.
Yeah.
Some that are like made up and they're really complex. So I would say that it's fair to say they have a.
What are you doing, by the way?
I'm trying to break this barrel.
I think you can hit a barrel with like a sledgehammer.
I don't have a sledgehammer.
Whatever you have, the blunt instrument.
Got a hoe.
Okay, sure.
If you want to know where the hoes are, they're here, okay? I have them. All of that for literally nothing.
Mm-hmm. That's how barrels work.
Anyway. Sorry, I got shot again.
Yes.
Trying to open a barrel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but love...
Oh yeah, so I would definitely say they have a form of love that in which you feel it's a feeling.
Yeah, as opposed to a verb, which is something you do. And again, right. English, like we said in the beginning, the English word love is incredibly broad and includes both the verb and the noun form. Although I think we should probably define what the difference is, like, because love as a feeling, it is often a strongest feeling, perhaps the strongest feeling that the average human will experience in their lifetime. But feelings do change over time, and that's even a phrase in our common dictionary. Oh, you have feelings for someone. Well, my feelings for you have changed, or it doesn't feel the way it used to.
For that, yeah, that's an experience I've had.
Yeah, exactly. So feelings change, whereas to love as a verb, to love, the verb form. Shout out to all your grammar people who are absolutely happy that I'm spending so much time harping on grammar for the tail end of this episode. But to love as a verb is a choice, a active thing that you choose to do. So I think that's the point I'm trying to make. Loving as a feeling, we often talk about to fall in love, which is usually involuntary. Like you can sometimes, but you don't generally choose to fall in love, or not. It is often you fall in love despite or without your will. But to love as a verb, by necessity, it has to be your choice. You're doing something. You're willingly choose to do something, which I think that's an important distinction. So the next time someone says, I love you, you should ask, if you want to be a real philosopher, you should ask them, do you love me? Which of the 5 forms of love do you love me? Also, is that as a verb or a noun? Yeah, that'll end the love real quick.
How to lose a love in 3 words, in 5 words or less.
Well, that was a lot more than 5 words, but yeah.
4 words. What do you mean? that right there. That'll do it.
What do you mean? And if they ask, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" Then you start bringing up the 5 Greek forms and grammar.
You got to ease them into it.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that's something useful the audience can take away from this: how to make people not like you anymore.
Be a philosopher.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else we need to say about love? I feel like love is like I said at the beginning, love is a very deep, important topic to most people throughout history. So obviously we can't do the entire subject justice in just one short episode, but I think this was a pretty decent, broad view of the different types of love, and at least making people aware that when you use the word love, you need to be a little careful about what you mean by it. Because
don't use it if you don't mean it.
Yeah. And if you're not sure which version you mean, maybe use a different word that is more accurate for your cases.
Nope. Okay. I was trying to get my arrow out, but I don't think I can.
Well, I mean, they're in your face now. I think you're in melee combat.
I'm in melee combat, but do I have a melee weapon? I've got a mop.
Yeah, this'll go well.
What the? No.
What
was that?
This seems like an appropriate place to end love.
Yep. Exactly. Right. Game over. That's what love is.
Yeah. Well, everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you really love us in any of the 5 forms of love, please leave a like button. We could talk. In fact, we could even talk about what's the difference between to like and to love someone. And if you leave a like button, you can also use that as an implication that you love us. Which form? We don't know. Comment, subscribe, do all the YouTuber things, hit that bell. And I guess we will see you next week.